So we've just had the release of Devblog 25, so here it is, Devblog 25. Quick scan through, basically they're saying that they've been doing a lot of progress, and in this Devblog they're going to look at all the new bots, and as you can see straight away, front and center, we have it right here. There is quite a lot of new bots to take in. So let's have a look. What are they saying about them? Is it interesting little fella straight away? Totally new. We don't have anything yellow, and as you look by this little thing going on here, they are jumpy little things. Could be quite interesting. It's a new attack, I guess. We're not really used to be getting attacked from above other than by the red farm bot's little toxic cannon, so this could be interesting. No idea how it's going to work in terms of destruction to vehicles and stuff though. Could cause huge problems. As we see here with the farmer's shack, they are able to bounce through them. They do look like they are getting knocked out easily, but it is worth questioning how. What is going on? We don't see anything happening with the mechanic in this one. He doesn't seem to be doing anything to them per se, but they do seem to have knocked themselves out. As we see here, they're getting dropped stuff on top of, so it's interesting that they can be stuck, but they're sort of bouncing up and down. You see him, he's sort of stuck in the floor there, he bounces up, breaks what's above him, and that falls down on him. It does also show us that there is some sort of destruction physics going on here. So what it says about it is, yellow tote bot, get ready to readjust your base walls or crank your vehicle's engines a bit higher when you see this new bot jumping into the scene. Originally designed as a fully autonomous power tool, the yellow tote bot has since gone renegade. Now it stomps its way across the planet, eager to flatten any mechanic it sees, no matter how many ceilings or floors it has to smash in the process. So this is probably the first thing that we've really seen on the destruction of what some of the bots could do, and it very clearly says there, it's going to be to our base and to our vehicles. So it doesn't matter how well we've reinforced them, it's going to have a good go at smashing through. That is going to be a whole new element that we haven't even thought about dealing with. I'm kind of, okay, that's cool. This little fella is very interesting. He's blue. Now, if you play Fant mod, you'll know that Fant has a blue boy in there who's an enemy in the water, and this is what this guy is. See him flipping around with his little flippers on? Kind of interesting. And he's got a drill head. Bit different, don't really know where it fits in, but have a look. The bad news is, from this bottom one, he's on land. So he's no longer just a water thing, but he's on land. Very interesting. The blue tote bot, just when you thought it was safe to go back in the water. Originally designed for offshore drilling, the blue tote has since decided to become an underwater torpedo instead. To make matters worse, it can also move fast enough on land to catch with any mechanic that aggravates it, so watch where you dive. So that is a little bit scary. So we're used to being able to run a little bit to get a little bit of distance between us and the bot, but if this thing is quick enough to catch up to us when we are in sprint, that's going to cause us a problem. That could become quite annoying if you find them early on and you have no way of defeating them. That's if it does have like an endless sprint and able to catch up with you when you're sprinting. Might need a little bit of balancing, but hopefully they've put a lot of time into this game. Hopefully they've worked on it there. We know this guy. This guy's familiar. We've seen him before in a couple of other dev blogs. Very angry, very explosive, sets himself off and comes charging towards you. Kaboom. Very interesting. Able to be taken out at range, best to be taken out at range. But he is very destructive looking like this. The red tote bot. We've teased the clanker before, but we've never shown him in action until now. Originally designed to clear away mine shafts using explosives, some of the red tote bots have since wandered up to the surface. When they encounter a mechanic, they will ignite their payload before rushing at the target, and they won't stop until they've reduced their target or anything standing in the way to smithereens. So that's going to be interesting because it says that it won't stop until it's reduced its target to smithereens, but looking at this, they only get to blow up once, because once they blow up they kind of destroy themselves. So whether they move in singles or whether they move in packs, don't really know. Words read like they'll move in packs, the visuals sort of show them in singles. A green tape bar, that's a strange looking thing. Standing on guard. What we see here is this is a complete new environment. They were seeing a little bit of a sneaky peek there. Some flippers to the left of that image, so it looks kind of, I don't know, underwatery perhaps, who knows. Here they are just standing around, just chilling, seeing what's going on. What it says about these boys is, you've seen this little bot on our Twitter. Once, this unassuming clanker would only bubble wrap fruit and veggies until the latest firmware update made it run amok. Armed with a roll of weaponized bubble plastic, it might not pack much of a punch by himself, but a bunch of them can ruin any mechanic's day. So it sounds like it's a low damage but potentially really annoying kind of enemy, in that there's going to be a few of them, easy to take out individually, tricky to take out in numbers, hopefully a lot less damaging than the normal tape bot that we're used to. But like you say, if it's got a fast enough firing projectile, or if there's more of them, they swarm you, sounds like it's going to be a headache. This is very interesting, this little thing. There's so much to take in with this yellow guy. Again, we see that new kind of biome, that new place. Looks like it's growing something in that container. Could be some sort of growth lab or something like this. But looking at this little thing down here, Doesn't look like it does damage per se, but it looks like it's got, well, it's quite clearly, it's got a goo that's going to slow you down and cause you a lot of problems that way. So it'll be interesting to see if it is a damaging kind of thing, or if it is more like a sort of speed control, slow you down, kind of get you stuck kind of situation. What it says about the yellow tape bot: an elegant bot for a civilized age. The yellow tape bot was perfectly harmless, designed to keep everything neat and tidy in storages by painting labels with its special 4-color ring. Following the disastrous firmware update that made it run amok, however, this clank has found a new purpose. Now it uses the same sorting ink to hurt and slow down any mechanic it sees. So we get confirmation there that it doesn't just slow us down, it will also hurt us. How much, we don't know. It doesn't even reference if it's more or less than any of the existing stuff. So it'll be interesting to see what this does. This adds sort of a whole new dimension to things, because it's the first thing we see that's kind of got a crowd control in that it slows you. Everything else was just out to hurt us in various different ways. This slows us down and makes us more kind of open up to more attack. Then we have the new area, which it's going to be interesting. It looks like it's been sort of made to show off all the new lighting particles and the way that the lighting works. It looks kind of clean. It does look nice, I'll admit that. What it is, what it gives us, we'll have to wait and see. But there's a huge amount to take in here, as we're seeing by these images. Have a look at this little GIF here. We see that changing the lights, what's really at show here, the bloom effect, and just how the lighting's potentially going to work. The image is a little bit grainy for me looking at it on Steam. Hopefully it's not too bad in the video, but it does look nice. I'll admit it does look nice. There's a lot at show here graphically, and they are grow labs. Ruin runs are great, but we've been working hard on populating the game world with additional cool places to explore and loot during the course of the survival mode adventure. One of those places are the underground grow labs. Fit to burst with green and yellow tape bots, these little dungeons offer exciting combat and some cool plunder at the end for those that venture inside them. So 2 things that we get from there then. It is a potential new tile completely. It is similar to a warehouse run or the ruins run. It seems like it's its own thing. Fingers crossed it hasn't replaced anything. But it is also an underground element, which we saw about there being the underground mines quite a while back now. This is probably one of the first references to that we've had in a long time. A new building, or a couple of new buildings. Interesting thing, very interesting little device. Looks like a giant hill, like a cash machine thing. As we read through, we find out it is an ore prospector. Get more out of your ore with the latest addition to the game, the ore prospector. A machine designed both for mechanics that love to build automated crafting chains, as well as those that like to do things manually. With its help, you'll be able to filter and finely ground gravel produced by the ore crusher in order to retrieve rare materials like gold and more. So we've got a lot of information in that. Huge amount of information, even though there's not a lot said. Ore prospector. So obviously we know that there is a lot to do with the mining, and we are now able to sort of sort through potentially some or all of the dirt that we dig. Designed for both mechanics that love automated crafting chains. So potentially there is some level of automation that could be available in the game. You'll be able to filter the finely ground gravel produced by the ore crusher. So we've got a mention of a complete new thing again, the ore crusher, and it will do that in order to retrieve rare materials like gold and more. So we've got a lot more mention of a lot more things to come in. That's quite a lot of information, but not a lot of words and not a lot of picture. There's quite a lot to take out of that. It's very interesting. This little thing, I presume, is just showing off just the visuals again, the way that the light works, the way that the glass is working now. It seems to be a little bit more tweaked, quite more refined, proper game, which is what we hope. They are heading towards bringing it out to full release on this update when it finally drops. And as you can see here, this is a prime example of the glass and what it's like when it's probably being painted and how it works when you actually look through it, which is cool. New glass. We haven't just been working on scrap mechanics content. After introducing the new and improved lighting system we mentioned in the last Devblog, our elite team of graphical engineers have been working on updating the game's visuals according to modern standards. That is a beautiful thing to hear. This time, we're excited to introduce our newest glass shader, which allows in-game glass to shine and distort like the real thing. So the buildings, vehicles, and other creations can look better than ever before. And that's just one of the graphical updates we've got in the works. That's nice. It shows that they're actually trying to bring the game up to arguably a more modern standard. The game is, still quite old. It first came out in 2016. They're finally bringing things up to date, which will make a lot of difference. Little tweaks like this are good things. You've got the different colored glass glass is there, and as you see, when you step behind that glass, what happens to that glow bug, you see the distortion that happens, which is what you would like to see. If they can do these little tweaks, there are little things like this. Yes, one hand they are a little bit gimmicky. Does it need it? Not necessarily, but it will make a difference when it comes to like your buildings and stuff. That's a nice thing. Now, this is an interesting thing. I've never seen this before, but we've got a bot there that looks like the original bot that you go to for the challenge. So it might be the sort of thing that gives you quests, general rebalance, and item schematics. Okay. We have also been working hard on rebalancing survival modes gameplay, specifically the crafting recipes and how items are obtained during the course of the game, so the gameplay can flow better than ever before. Our latest addition to scrap mechanics features are schematics. When found, these collectible items will allow your craft bots to create additional items. That's interesting. Furthermore, we've been focusing on changing the way farming raids work while reworking the existing hunger and hydration bars to be less annoying. More on these later on. So that's interesting in that you can get schematics that will potentially allow your crafting bots to do very specific things. Hopefully that unlocks like a complete thing and isn't just like a one-off thing. So like, for example, so if you get a schematic of a large wheel, for example, hopefully once your craft bot has that schematic, you can pump out as many large wheels as you like. Hopefully it's not limited to like, okay, here's a schematic for a large wheel. You can make one large wheel until you find the schematic again. Little wok, and as we see, the little wok suit for the character, which is kind of funny in a really strange way. Interesting that they've given it the corn backpack. The wok outfit. Introducing the wackiest outfit we've made so far. The wok outfit, complete with a corn cob themed backpack. It might not be up to the profession regulation standards, but it sure was a welcome change from all that stuffy workwear. What do you think? Will you rock this outfit? Let them know. I do like the look of this thing. Slightly gimmicky. If I'm going to hide in a field full of woks, maybe I'll wear it. It is a nice change, like they say, from all of the other stuff where it's very actual clothing and like the welder or the mechanics and these kind of things. It's just them having a little bit of fun, isn't it? And finally, we're on to the last part of the next chapter update. This is the bit that we all dread. At the risk of sounding like a broken bot, while we still don't have an exact release date for the next chapter, we are still aiming for this year. That's, we're at this point again where it's like the tease, but they've said that they're aiming for this year. The sad thing to take away from there is they've not said which quarter. They're not saying, you know, quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3, quarter 4. They're just saying, hopefully, we're aiming for this year. I'm not going to get into that. It's not what we're here for. It's worth mentioning that the next chapter has turned into a behemoth of an update with a ton of new content. We remain confident that it will be worth the wait. We know that it can be frustrating and boring, but we have to make sure it's great. They really do have to make sure it's great. I'm sorry, because everybody knows probably by now that I am one that is quite negative about the scrap mechanic stuff and how long they're prolonging stuff, and with all this coming soon teasing but never actually delivering anything. In my opinion, this update has to be like outstanding good. Fingers crossed it will be. I want to enjoy the game, but I remain reserved until I see it, until I get hands on it. You know, I'm going to hold my place and say, in my opinion, it needs to be something good. There's too many silences from the devs between dev blogs. There's no communication with the player base, and that is one thing that is annoying. People can take or leave the amount of content that we're getting. People are starting to get really frustrated with the lack of communication from them. One dev blog every 4 or 5 months. It's just poor. You know, there's a lot here to go from. Bearing in mind that they haven't shown us the wire bot that we saw underground. They haven't shown us the trash bot that's on the roof. They haven't shown us the flying bot. So there's quite a lot of new enemies that are going to be coming, hopefully, unless stuff's been changed and reworked, whatever else. But I'm hopeful when we get it, if we get it this year. And guys, see you again next time. Take it easy. Peace.